I am a tourism provider. I have a sort of a micro-enterprise in North Leitrim. I'm 4 miles from the border with Manorhamilton and 6 kilometres, which is exactly the same distance from Manorhamilton. I applied for the Creative Labs with my business partner Tina Palmer, and we were successful in that, and we did the labs with Nick in Fermanagh. My business is now 3 businesses. I have Tunnelus Lodge, which is an eco-friendly self-catering unit. Leitrim Landscapes Guided Walks, so we do nature, forage and archaeology walks. And then my project with Harness and Creativity was and is Big Days Out in Leitrim. So that's the self-catering place I have. It's absolutely lovely, I love it. But then I started to think not everyone just wants to sit in the field in Leitrim, even if the view is fantastic. And I would say to people involved in tourism, think like a tourist. Just because I love it doesn't mean that the punters do. So they want to do stuff when they come. So with Leitrim Landscapes Guided Walks, we offer nature, archaeology, foraging and local history and folklore. There are 3 of us who work together. I do the boring stuff like the marketing, the admin, and then the wonderfully creative Tina Palmer and Rob Wheeldon are the actual guides. So that was sort of the basis of what we were working on. Then Tina and I joined the Creative Labs and met some wonderful people there, and we started thinking, Leitrim is fabulous, but it's not known at all. It's a very well kept secret, which isn't great if you're looking for bums and beds and people on walks. So our project under the labs was Big Days Out in Leitrim. So the whole labs really were about collaboration. So I started thinking about what is collaboration. So I looked up Wikipedia as opposed to the dictionary proper. Working with others to do a task and to achieve shared goals. In a way we were already doing it because I had the accommodation and the other 2 had their own businesses and the 3 of us were working together. But Tina and I saw the Harness and Creativity Labs as an opportunity to work with other people. So even though our project was Big Days Out in Leitrim, it doesn't end at that, because there were lots of really interesting people we met during the labs, and I can see us working with like kite photographer and lots of interesting stuff going on. This is what happened then, Big Days Out in Leitrim. So it's our business, Leitrim Landscapes Guided Walks. We joined up with 2 other businesses in Leitrim. And what I think was important for us at that stage was we had the same ethos, a bit like Shane's talking about getting lost with the techie guys, with his creativity part. They were the same as us. They really love Leitrim. They want to get people out in nature. So it was very easy for us to work together. Plus we complemented each other. We do the guided walks. The electric bike people obviously bring people out in nature on the bikes, and because they're power assist, pedal assist, you can get, even if you're not fit, you can get to the top of the mountains. The Adventure Gently people, and don't you just love the name, it's what I call non-adrenaline canoeing. So it's really, you're in these big stable boats, you're out in nature, you can sort of get up and take photos without falling out and stuff, and it's really nice. And I suppose as a child I used to get so excited going to Bundoran, swimming in the sea and going to the lake in Black Lion. And I had this feeling of, you come home, your hair is full of sand and reeds and you're covered in ice cream, and that's where the name was born, A Big Day Out in Leitrim. You come home rotten, dirty, absolutely exhausted. You'd eat the dog, and it was sort of that idea of being out in the fresh air. Sorry if there's any vegetarians and dog lovers there. So what happened then with Big Days Out in Leitrim? All of a sudden, we go from me on the top of the hill in my lovely eco house that nobody knows about, and Leitrim Landscapes Guided Walks, together with the other 2. So it's 3 businesses promoting 3 businesses, which can only be good. Then the peer mentoring within the group. It was really funny because I spoke with something in Strabane, I think it was this day week, and they talked about you had to give your top 10 tips for collaborating in tourism. So it actually really made me sit down and think about my own modus operandi and think, I'm a doer, whereas some of the people I was working with are really thinking, Jesus, would you hurry up? Whereas I realise when they get their hands on it, it's done properly and I don't have to go and redo it a couple of times more. So even the skills within that group, there are 3 of us in the walking part, 2 in the adventure gently and 2 in the electric bike trade. So that's 3, how many people? 7 people. So there's a whole set of skills in there. You know, it's really fantastic. So the peer mentoring within that, the skills in that pool. So even if it comes down to, you know, we're constantly inundated with emails from Falch Ireland, Tourism Ireland, Northern Ireland Tourist Board, we can't actually go there. We can't afford the time out of our businesses. We maybe can't afford the overnights. We can't afford the flights there. So one person can actually go and represent all 3 businesses. So that's yet another advantage. Bulk purchase of promo materials. Now, what was great for us and what we used our funding for in the first round of Harnessing Creativity was actually to get, Gareth and Dara did a video for us, which has proven to be really great. Because when I get on the phone and talk to Tourism Ireland or Falch Ireland, well, show us it. You're telling me about a great deal. I can't actually go and do it myself. So that video has turned out to be fantastic. Plus we got a website done. So the video is embedded in that website. So that has been really great. But also we have one flyer now for the 3 businesses. So we can buy that in bulk, which means it's a lot cheaper for us as well. And we go the eco-friendly route, and they have to be, you know, recycled paper from renewable sources and good ink and all of that. So greater social media presence as well. I mean, I'm the sort of one who goes into panic mode when people talk about websites and Facebook and Twitter, and just it all scares me. But the fact that the 3 of us are promoting each other, and also we've gone to the second round, the product development round, so what we've used that money for is training and all of this stuff. You know, search engine optimization. I'd rather be sticking pins in my eyes up until this. I want to be out there in my walking gear and looking at whatever bug or butterfly I see and thinking, oh, I'll pay someone to do this. It doesn't actually work because that person doesn't have the passion that we have. So the second round of the product development, we have used that to actually train ourselves up on all of these things, and even getting our databases together. We talk about the collaboration. Electric Bike Trails had a database. I had 2 databases, one from the accommodation and one from the walks, and then the Adventure Gently people. I've lost my databases about 3 times when the laptop's gone belly up on me. Now I can't. We've all been trained and we've set up MailChimp for big days out, so that's been fantastic. Increased lobbying power, that's hugely important. You know, we're going there to Tourism Ireland, we're going there to the state agencies, we're going there to our local county council. This is what we need. We don't have the infrastructure for tourism. We really need that. So rather than one lone voice, all of a sudden you're gathering momentum. And I think it didn't end at this, and it isn't going to end at this with the Harnessing Creativity part of it. Because a lot of people were coming, and even the fact I think that I was asked to speak at a number of tourism things, it was because I was involved in the Harnessing Creativity programme. And we sort of, maybe just show you what the big day out is. This is the kids out in the canoe, and I mean that says it all, that face, the stuff in here. I mean, this was me a few years back, but now I'm back to this again, which is great. We actually got the Minister for Tourism, the then Minister for Tourism, who's now moved to Help, Leo Varadkar, to come and cut our big day out in Leitrim cake. And this cake, you can't see it very well then, was used in our showcase. It was a piece of art. It was just fantastic with canoeists and walkers and all of that on it. These are the people out on the electric bike trail, and this is a very happy looking mushroom forager with what I have named the bear bum mushroom, a giant puffball, and was he delighted with that find. So that's, I mean, we're bringing people out doing that sort of thing, which can only be good for you. What that has led to then was sort of a lot of people coming together. I found that there were other people out there thinking the same way as me. You know, nobody knows about Leitrim, we've fantastic resources, why don't we get our act together? So I did talk to our local leader company, and I said, look, Brian, can you get people together at a meeting in Mannerhampton, and I will get bums and seats? Because I found I was sort of being the conduit for a lot of people saying, well, you're involved in tourism, you're in this, why don't we? I said, let's all get together and talk about that. So exactly a year ago, we have a couple of more members in the room today as well. What that has led to was, a year ago we set up Leitrim Tourism Network. We now have 100 people, businesses, when I say businesses, that may not even be the correct term, involved in that. We've brought in arts and crafts, we're bringing in the whole sort of music thing now. So we're looking at all of these things. The businesses who came in with us are involved in festivals, cycle and walking routes, heritage events, food trails, the SLNCR, which Seamus talked about as well as part of his project. There's a whole project going on reopening that whole railway, which comes through Sligo, Leitrim, Cavan and Fermanagh. So that would be fantastic for the region. So sort of again, our Harnessing Creativity project of 3 businesses has now gone out. You know, everybody's involved in it, but it was sort of that idea that sparked it. That's just a photo of us at our last network meeting in Drumshanbo. What I thought was interesting, and you sort of know maybe that you have arrived or you're nearly there, when Fáilte Ireland, who never answered the phone to you a lot of the time, asked to come and speak at it, and Waterways Ireland asked to come and speak at it. So, you know, we found we were sitting around waiting for the statutory bodies to tell everybody how wonderful Leitrim was, and several years later we realised it's not actually going to happen. So, if you go back to what I said earlier, the 3 businesses promoting 3 businesses, we're now 100 businesses promoting 100 businesses. Didn't sort of finish at that, or it isn't going to finish at that, because even geographically, Leitrim's very long and narrow. So I live sort of on the border with Fermanagh, Donegal, and then it stretches right down to Longford. So often the 2 ends of the county don't have an awful lot in common. And that's why this tourism network has brought everybody together. And what we do at our meetings is we have the meetings at a location, and we usually go out and visit a site, because you can't sell it if you don't know it. So an archaeology site or a heritage site or an experience or walk in the woods. But what we've done now is what we worked on in the labs with Nick was about, you know, people power. What do you do at a 10-year session? Do you just sit there and starve waiting on our respective governments to do something? No, you get off your butt and you do something yourself. And I think if you're doing something that you're passionate about, it's easy and it tends to be successful. So that's sort of where we're at with that. Look, I know there's no time for questions, but if there's, you know, over lunch we can have a chat or whatever. Probably loads of things I've forgotten, but we can.